All right, let's dive into one of the spiciest topics in all of crypto, upgradable smart contracts. We're going to break down what they are, how they work, and most importantly, how to tell the good from the bad.
So you're looking at a new project, and you see that word upgradeable, and I bet your stomach drops a little, right? Does that mean the devs can just change the rules whenever they want? Could they just, take the money and run? Look, those are totally fair questions, and we are going to get you some answers.
But here's the thing, and this is really the key takeaway. The ability to upgrade isn't inherently evil. Sometimes it's actually a good thing. The real danger? It's when there are no rules, no constraints on that power. When one person can make secret changes in the middle of the night, that's the red flag you need to watch out for.
I mean, think about it. No code is perfect from day one. Bugs happen. Better ideas come along. Projects need a way to fix critical security holes or roll out awesome new features. The big difference, the line between a responsible upgrade and a super risky one, it all comes down to one thing: control. Who gets to make the change, and what checks and balances are in place?
So you might be wondering, wait a minute, I thought the whole point of the blockchain was that code is immutable, that it can't be changed. And you're right. So how is this even possible? Well, it all comes down to a really clever little workaround called a proxy contract. The idea behind a proxy is actually pretty simple. Just think of it like a permanent P.O. box. You always send your mail, your transactions, to that same P.O. box address. Now, that box doesn't actually do anything on its own. It just forwards your mail to the real office where the work gets done. The magic is that the owner of the P.O. box can, behind the scenes, change which office the mail gets sent to.
Let's just walk through it real quick. So, you send your transaction to the one address you'll ever need to know, the permanent proxy. Right now, it's forwarding everything to Logic Contract A. But oh no, the team finds a bug. So the admin deploys a new, shiny, fixed version. We'll call it Logic Contract B. Then they just tell the proxy, hey, from now on, send everything over to B instead. For you, nothing changes. The address is the same, but the code running in the background has been completely replaced. Pretty slick, right?
Okay, so understanding the tech is cool, but protecting your funds is way more important. So with that in mind, we've put together a simple checklist. These are the absolute non-negotiable questions you have to ask before you even think about putting your assets into an upgradable contract.
And here it is. This is the money slide. First off, is it even upgradable? Then, who has the power? Is it one person? Is it a group? And if it's a group, a multisig, what are the rules? Is there a built-in waiting period, a time lock before changes go live? And can you see a public history of all the changes they've made? Look, if you can't get clear answers to these, that ambiguity itself is a huge warning sign.
Now, of all those questions, this is the one. This is ground zero. Everything else, all the other safety checks, they all flow from the answer to this one question. You absolutely have to know who holds the keys to the kingdom.
And you're basically going to find two scenarios. On one hand, you have the high-risk setup, a single admin. That means one person, one wallet, has God mode. If that key gets hacked, lost, or compromised, it's game over. On the other hand, you have a multi-signature admin or a multisig. This is way safer because it spreads that power out. You need multiple, separate people to all sign off before any change can happen. It's not perfect, but it's a massive step up.
And when you hear multisig, don't just stop there. Your very next question has to be, what's the threshold, right? A 2 of 3 setup is totally different than, say, a 7 of 12. The threshold tells you just how decentralized the control really is. So for a 3 of 5 multisig, no one person can do anything, and even 2 people working together can't force a change. That's a decent check on power. Okay, so you figured out who can make a change. Now we need to talk about when they can make it. Because even with a trustworthy multisig, you don't want them pushing through a surprise upgrade at 3 a.m. And that's exactly what a time lock is for. It's a mandatory cooldown period for any proposed change.
But let's be absolutely crystal clear about what a time lock does and what it doesn't do. Its one and only job is to give you time. It gives you a window to see what's coming, to look at the new code, and to decide if you want to get your funds out before the change happens. A time lock does not guarantee an upgrade is good or safe. It just prevents you from getting blindsided.
So let's take this checklist and apply it to the real world, because a lot of projects will use some pretty fuzzy language to sound safer than they actually are. Your job is to be skeptical, to cut through the marketing fluff and find the cold, hard, on-chain proof. Don't trust, verify.
I mean, you've seen this a million times, right? Some project says, oh yeah, we're totally decentralized, our contracts are community controlled. Sounds fantastic, but what does that actually mean?
This is the question that cuts right through the BS. A claim of community control is completely hollow unless they can show you the public, verifiable addresses for their multisig wallet and their Timelock contract. If they can't point you to those on the blockchain, then that claim is just marketing talk. It's meaningless.
So here's a quick rundown of the big red flags. When a project doesn't even mention that their contracts are upgradable, when they make those vague community control claims, when there's no public proof of who's in the multisig or what the rules are, when upgrades just happen with no announcement or explanation. And this is a big one. When they point to a security audit from 6 months ago as proof that their brand new code is safe. No, that's not how it works.
Okay, enough with the red flags. It's not all doom and gloom. Let's flip this around and talk about the green flags. What do the good projects, the ones who are genuinely trying to be transparent, actually do? How can you spot them?
Honestly, they make your job easy. They publish all the important addresses right on their website or in their docs. The proxy, the admin, the timelock, it's all there. They tell you exactly what the multisig rules are. They announce upgrades well in advance. They keep a detailed public log of every single change they've ever made. And they often get a new audit after an upgrade just to prove everything is still secure.
So if you're going to remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this simple 3-part framework. Who controls it? Verify the admin is a multisig. What are the constraints? Verify the threshold is reasonable. When can it change? Verify the time lock gives you enough time to react. If you can answer those 3 questions, you're ahead of 99% of people.
Look, at the end of the day, there's no single right answer here. A contract that's 100% locked forever can't be fixed if a fatal flaw is discovered. A contract that's totally flexible can be rugged in a heartbeat. It's all a trade-off between security and flexibility. Your job using this checklist isn't to find good or bad projects. It's to understand the specific balance that each project chose, and then decide for yourself if that's a risk you're comfortable with.
So now you have the toolkit to analyze a contract on a single chain. But what happens when your assets start moving between chains? Next time, we are jumping headfirst into the very complex, very high-risk world of crypto bridges and wrapped tokens. You're not going to want to miss that.
And as always, just a quick reminder that this is all for educational purposes. This is not financial advice. Please, please always do your own research. Thanks for tuning in.